A lot of people think that CFOs put a very tight guardrail. I was quite reactive, and the word I learned it's an environment of perma crisis.
Hello everyone, welcome to Inside the Leader's Mind. Today, we are decoding leadership, financial strategy, and decision making in a rapidly evolving world with Rohit Anand, Chief Financial Officer at Tech Mahindra. Rohit, great to have you with us.
Yeah, lovely to be here.
Without any wait, let's dive into the questions. Rohit, everyone is talking about AI productivity gains. As a CFO, what separates AI investments that create real business value from those that are just hype?
Yeah, I think you have to look at it holistically, step back a little bit and look at technology industry for the last 20, 25 years. It's always evolved, right? It's evolved from changes in technology when Y2K was started to, when the internet bubble came in to cloud, robotic process automation. There's been different transformation from a technology standpoint that has come in, and most um, areas and all the areas, the IT services firms have benefited out of it, right? Now, from an AI perspective, the hypothesis is that AI will bring a lot of productivity for IT services, which is a good thing because you can do same amount of work with less resources. The input to output ratio changes. But the other question, and which is why there's a lot of pressure on the stocks for all IT companies, is that would mean that traditional model of IT services value goes down dramatically, right? So if you look at it, the way at least we've seen it and we've seen the technology is that it's going to be a supplemental tool to help aid all IT services company and will accelerate the digital transformation for the global enterprise, where IT services will play a meaningful role in contributing to that change, right? So I think what it means is we need to be ready for that growth that will come in front of us. And for us to be ready for the growth means investments, right? Where are we going to invest? And to your point, are we just going to invest for the sake of investing, right? So I think it's very important to distinguish what really makes sense for us to be ready for the growth. And, between Tech Mahindra senior management team, the board, we have a regular discussion on that and we assess how the market is moving. We continuously look at the opportunities for investment for us, be it inorganic, be it organically growing our business through technology investments in people, in tools, right? All of that is constantly evaluated. And with that, we have a very strong and a robust mechanism where between the CEO office, CTO, with my intervention, we regularly look at all the options where we're going to invest and we prioritize what we think makes sense. And then, of course, keep on revisiting, given it's a dynamic world and technology is moving fast, keep on revisiting that on a regular basis. That's kind of the way we operate right now. And we're very clear that we just don't want to invest dollars with the view of just showing investments. We want to make sure that every investment, every dollar that we put gives us the right return. And of course, since the technology is changing, you would have to take certain bets and certain, moves that might not work. But as long as those are well measured, evaluated, and constantly debated, it makes sense for us. So I think that's the process we run, and we're very comfortable with the way we're looking at investing in the technology and people.
So it's not about using AI for the sake of it, but making sure it actually moves the needle.
Yes, that's right.
Great. And next question is, in today's environment, leaders are expected to drive growth, improve margins, embrace AI, and manage constant disruptions. So what's the hardest balancing act right now?
Yeah, I think it's it's a very volatile world, right? It's volatile. And the word I learned a year and a half back, it's an environment of perma crisis, permanent, you're in a crisis mode. So it's either geopolitical or macroeconomic or technology disruptions. So permanently it's crisis situation. So then how do you think about leadership in a perma crisis mode? It's very important to understand how do you balance, right? Any of these aspects. So from our side, we constantly engage with the senior management team. We prioritize, right, what is important for us. As you know, we shared a 3-year plan for Tech Mahindra in April 2024, which was internally shared as well as known externally to the public, right? So it was one plan that was managed between internal and external stakeholders, And with that, at least it became clear where are we heading, right? That was the goal setting that we did for the entire organization. With that, we've had constant catch-ups, meetings, sessions with the senior management team in different forums that we've set up, either Atul staff or Mohit staff, that we do, or even senior management, including functional teams, so that we can continuously debate and pass on the priorities that people can balance on, right? Otherwise, it's very important to get mixed up and drive the wrong lever where it's really not something we're looking for. So I think that constant communication, that constant dialogue is very important, which is what we've been doing, and having a clear goalpost, right? This year is very clear. We have to get to 15% operating margin or the EBIT number. We have to be higher than industry average growth on top line, right? So if we have to do that, the message was really relayed in the first Blaze session that we did at the beginning of the year in April with the entire leadership team and the sales organization. So the message with that is very clear with everybody. What is the priority? Where are we going to head? And then wherever there's a conflicting, priorities, there's a forum and a session, right, which we regularly discuss those decisions on. I mean, all the deals are discussed in a deal review forum that happens thrice a week between Atul and me. And anywhere where there's a disagreement or we need to take a call, which is, a tough one, we obviously escalate and go to Mohit for a decision, right? But usually these process and the system we've set up is working really well for everybody to be clear what the priority is, and decision making is channeling appropriately through those sessions.
Striking the balance is important. It truly shows your leadership. All right, let's lighten it up a bit. We'll move on to the next segment, this or that. Quick choices, no overthinking.
Okay.
Data-driven decisions or instinct-driven decisions?
Data-driven decisions.
Growth at speed or sustainable growth?
Sustainable growth.
Books or podcast?
Books.
Early morning deep work or late night thinking sessions?
Early morning deep work.
Perfect choices. Now moving on to the third section, rapid fire. You have to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Vacation?
Mountains.
Comfort food?
Rajma chawal, beans and rice.
Perfect. One thing people misunderstand about CFOs.
I think generally the perception is that there's always a control on cost that CFOs want to drive. While it's an important part of the job, I think the way I look at it is, a little bit more balanced approach where you look at what is important for growth, and every dollar that we're spending has a return on it. So, I don't really think about smaller aspect of spend if it adds value, and look at it more broadly. So I think a lot of people think that CFOs put a very tight guardrail on. I'm more broader on that and aligned that it's ultimately, taking care of every small dollars doesn't make a difference. What you need to make sure is culturally everybody thinks in a way that what they spend on is adding value, right? If you can change that culturally, then you don't really need to control. And in that order, while we started with that, there's more and more delegation that Atul and his team are, being passed on to take decisions at their level, so that, they understand the balance to strike on what is right and what is wrong, instead of be controlling at a central level everything.
A lesson you wish you had learned earlier in your career?
In early part of my career, I'm just going to complete close to 25 years next year. So I think if I break it down into the first, I would say 15 to 17 years and the last 7-8 years, I would say in the first phase of my working career, I was extremely, I would say, one view person that this is the way it needs to be done. And I always thought about, delivering outcomes at every cost. Slowly, steadily, I learned how everybody is meant to be different. How do you take a team along, and how do you kind of step back and look at the bigger picture? Even dealing with people, I would say I was quite reactive, and over a period of time, I think I've become more balanced. I've understood where the person's coming on, look at the other perspective, and then kind of see how do we, goals and objectives always keep on increasing as you keep on going up in the chain, right? So that doesn't really change, but how do you achieve it? And everything that doesn't need to be stressed out. I used to probably stress out about everything in terms of outcomes, but now what is more important, what really matters, everything I feel ultimately is going to get sorted. So why take a stress around it? Just act and take actions, and that will automatically take us things instead of worrying in your mind. I think those are the aspect I wish I would have known before, because that creates a lot of pressure on your health and wellness, which I've learned in the last 7-8 years of my life, and it's much better now.
All right. So here is the last question for you. If you were advising a young professional entering the workplace today, what is the one skill you would invest in technology can never replace?
Yeah, I think it's about dealing with people. See, ultimately, when you're trying to drive enterprise level outcomes, you can't do everything on your own. It's all about working with teams, collaborating, and it's not necessary that you'll have everybody reporting to you. I need to work with HR, I need to work with operations, I need to work with sales, I need to work with different functions, right? So if anybody entering in the workforce has to come in beyond all the other skills that they need to get to, right, from a technology and other standpoint, I would say working with people and getting outcomes and influencing the decision making, I think that's a skill that's very, very important. Because if you can get people on board on decisions, if you can get people on board on execution of a project with the same passion, making them understand that this is what we need to deliver, this is how we're going to go around it. So that happens over a period of time. You don't need to be leading a team. Ultimately, it's about learning that skill of working together. Once you start learning how to work together, you automatically get into the mode of slowly steady getting into the position where you start leading the team and guiding them on what's the right way to do it, and collaboratively. Obviously, there are conflicts, but there's a process of conflict resolution instead of getting personal about things, right? And that's what I would advise everybody, that learn how to work with different set of peoples. Ultimately, one person and the second person is not same. They're totally different individuals. This person can be driven totally by a project which is a particular type. The other person might be driven by total ambiguity, right? The other person wants everything laid out from A to Z. So you have to understand how everybody works and how do you get the maximum out of them and for the organization. So that's the most important skill. How do you work with people and get the maximum output for them personally, so that they keep on growing and then the organization keeps on going.
That's a strong one to end on. Rohit, thank you so much for those insights. Really practical and thought-provoking. And to everyone watching, if there is one takeaway, it is this: stay curious, think long-term, and focus on what truly creates value. See you in the next episode of Inside the Leader's Mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Geetika.